Hello, friends, family, other people on YouTube. Obviously, I can tell that this video quality is not the greatest, nor probably is the microphone. This is a first video, test video. Hey, Ramen, welcome. Um, as the title says it all, it's a living with cancer vlog that I'm starting. The troubles that I face, the things that I go through, everything. Um, right now, we're more toward the end stages of everything that's happening. I got my cancer when I was 14 years old, and I didn't know I had it until I was 21. I just had this lump in my shoulder, wasn't causing any pain, problems. We're a poor family, didn't exactly have insurance, so let it be. I got insurance through work, and I proceeded to go to the doctor and get it checked out. Turns out it was Hodgkin's lymphoma type 5, a very curable disease, in fact. From there, they irradiated me every day for 6 months, 5 days a week. I had the weekends off, but killed the cells, everything was good. During that process, between going from all the doctor bills there all the way up to recently, I'd filed bankruptcy because bills had just gotten too crazy, and it was mainly the medical bills that were starting to garnish me. Didn't even have money to live, and I was working full-time job, most time even extra hours. They were taking so much out of my checks that it didn't really matter. Um, so 7 years go by again, and I'm 29. Well, I was 28 when I started this. Back in May of 2017 and April, I noticed that being the bigger fellow that I am, I really like food. I like to eat a lot, especially if it tastes good. I was going from full plate size meals, smaller, 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 to where I'm like, well, I don't understand why I'm eating smaller meals. And everyone that I know, my work, my family, my friends are like, man, you're losing a lot of weight. Because I weighed just under 300 pounds, something along those lines. And, I was getting down almost to the 200 mark. And I was excited because every night I was eating a home cooked meal. I thought I was just doing good with the eating and not snacking constantly, not going out to eat. And I was doing good. Well, everyone's like, no, you need to go to the doctor. So I get this list of random oncologists in the area, and I call one up, Sean Hain. I'm not very fond of him right now, but I was ecstatic because it was the same oncologist that I saw back when I had the cancer in my neck, right? So I'm like, cool, go see the same guy. He doesn't exactly have bedside manner, but he tells you point blank what's going on. Dude is chill. I do like him for that. So he says that the cancer is now in my spleen, and we need to proceed with treatment. And this is after the CAT scan. And I look at the CAT scan. My spleen is 5.5 times larger than it's supposed to be. So basically, it was overtaking my stomach and naturally giving me a gastric bypass. And that's why I was eating smaller and smaller meals and losing so much weight, is because my stomach physically couldn't hold any more food. So starting in May, well, actually, it's like, yeah, after seeing the doctor, we spent all day in the doctor's office, saw him, had another scan done. Everything was all said and good. Me and my fiance Elizabeth went out to lunch, and we missed a bunch of calls. Finally, they get through to us, and they're like, "We need you in this other town right now." So we're like, "Okay," and it's where his primary office is. It's a couple towns over. So we drive over there, and we're sitting in that freaking doctor's office for another 2 hours. And finally get to see the doctor, and he's all like, yeah, it's progressed really badly. We need to start chemo today. I've got a bed ready for you over at the hospital. Go over there, give them your name, and they'll get you to your room. Took them 2 days to get me into chemo because they had no idea why I was there. that was fun. But so I started chemo in the hospital over there. Proceeded with all my chemo treatments in my main town. Everything was all said and good. Did chemo up until what was it? September, October, November, October. I finished in October, the month before my birthday when I turned 29. And the cancer cells were going down. Everything was good. Doctor goes, well, we did chemo, so I don't see it coming back. You're cured. Have a nice day. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, it went all throughout your body, so I don't see the cancer coming back at all. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's awesome. No more cancer. Woohoo. So I don't believe him. I go home, start doing some research in the big town in my state, Portland, Oregon, right? And I find an oncologist up here. I give him a call, I set up an appointment, get it approved through my insurance, and drive the 5 hours up to get up to Portland. Get in, see the doctor. It's actually the wrong oncologist. He specializes in radiation. So he sends me up to this other doctor, Dr. Godwin. Now, this guy, he's phenomenal. Apparently, he's the best oncologist in the state. Super stoked about that. So I go up and see him 2 days later, and I tell him what the other doctor said, and I give them rights to go pull all the information from the other doctor and stuff like that. And he comes back when he goes, well, I see that, it's gone down. Everything's looking good. So what I recommend is a stem cell transplant. But they're going to take out my stem cells. Basically, they're going to flush my body, leave basically only red blood cells in my body, so that way I get oxygen everywhere. And then when I'm completely drained and dead, they're going to re-inject the stem cells that they took from me. And those stem cells will proceed to grow and expand and get everything that I need. Apparently, stem cells, that I learned, are blank canvases. You need more white blood cells, stem cells become them. I would imagine so, Ramen. And that's why I said they basically leave only the red blood cells, so I get oxygen. But yeah, then they put the stem cells back in me. They would do all this. In this process, I have done a heart test, a lung test, 2 bone marrow biopsies. I have bad teeth, so I had to go to the dentist. Probably why I have somewhat of a lisp now. They took my front teeth out. Freaking sucks. At least I still have my fangs. But they took all the bad teeth out and worked on the other ones, made sure everything was all said and good. And I can't get a bridge or anything set until after, after everything's pretty much all said and done. So I go through all these tests to get the stem cell transplant set up. I'm super stoked. It's going to take me down for a couple of months. Blah, blah. But I'm up here with my sister, so I've got someone to take care of me, right? And so we get all this set up, and the cancer comes back again, like more aggressive than before. Oh, that really sucks. The molars, aren't those like your big primary teeth in the back, Ramen? So yeah, the cancer comes back more aggressive than ever before. So they hospitalized me, and we do more chemo, do more scans. Everything's looking good. This is a process of another month because I had to do like 3 rounds of chemo. So stem cell transplant, let's do this. We go through all the testing again because it's been a couple months. Lung test, heart test, bone marrow biopsy. Those suck, by the way. From there, we proceeded to get all set up, got all the papers signed. I got an extreme fever of 104. So I have my wisdom teeth coming anyway. Continue the story. It is really sad, and it's something that I want to document, kind of not necessarily on a daily basis, but maybe on at least a weekly basis. Just kind of check in with you guys, let you know what I had to do, and it'll keep it current at least. This is just pretty much the past leading up to where I am now. So bone marrow biopsies suck. Don't get any of those if you can't avoid it. So anyway, again, get all the papers signed for the stem cell transplant. Everything set in motion, improved by insurance. Get an extreme fever of 104. Get hospitalized. They go through so many different things. I'm hospitalized for 16 days. Not even allowed to leave my room. Apparently, I had this disease also called C. diff. It's pretty much a really bad diarrhea, and um, it is contagious on a high level. So every nurse that came into my room had to wear like gloves and a gown and everything. Um, and I finally got on medication for that, and I'm still on medication for that because it can take up to 6 months in my body, and it can attract other people just by using the same bathroom as me, and it sucks. Anyway, so I'm hospitalized for 16 days. 9 days in, they finally figure out after bone marrow biopsy, after scans, after test after test after test that they run, blood test this, blood test that. They finally figure out it's my cancer causing the fever. Now, if you can imagine having a fever of 104, bouncing between 100 and 104 for 6 to 9 days. I think they found out on the 8th day, and I started chemo again on the 9th. But it sucks. Yeah, Fahrenheit. Being American, we do what Fahrenheit and like meters instead of kilometers, miles per hour. The whole planet needs to get on one system. I don't understand why we have two. Anyway, so yeah, having that for 9 days, sweating constantly, having the chills just back and forth, back and forth. Can't get warm. I'm sweating. I want to die. So they finally figured out it's cancer causing the problem. So they proceed to give me chemo again. Well, at this time, it would look like that this is my fourth type of chemo that I've gone through. There's only 2 types left to try, and those won't even affect the cancer that I have. So I have now failed 4 types of cancer, or 4 types of chemo. The chemo starts to beat back the cancer, but at the same time, it drops every one of my counts down to like nothing. My platelets are down below 20. If I get cut, I could bleed to death. My white blood cell count is extremely low, so anything and everything can make me sick and vulnerable. So I can't go anywhere, can't do anything. But so at this point in time, the stem cell process has been kicked out the window. It's a 12% chance of keeping the cancer away now. So what's next? I failed 4 types of chemo, nothing's working. Option 1, go home and live with it. Fuck it all. Just go home and wait till I die. Well, I kind of don't want to die anytime soon. So we're just going to let it, we'll skip option 1. Option 2, check family members' immune systems. See how closely compatible they are to my own. If I get a match, they can inject their immune system into mine and let it take over to help battle the cancer cells. Unfortunately, this has a 70% chance of death because their immune system being in mine could find that my immune system is completely, a foreign body and it has to destroy it. So it would be literally injecting me with something killing me from the inside out. Option 3 is what we call a CAR T. It's kind of experimental. Recently came to the States. It's kind of like the stem cell transplant, but a little bit different. They're going to take the stem cells from my body, ship them off to a lab, and they're going to basically put a special T cell on the stem cells. What this is going to do is when it comes time to inject the cells back into my body, they're going to give me another round of chemo to kill everything and just get rid of everything. So when they inject it, it has more room to grow and expand. And it's supposed to expand and target the cancer cells and go right for it and get rid of the cancer. That's what we're hoping, right? That's the step that we're at right now, is waiting for the CAR T. Unfortunately, we're waiting for insurance to improve it because it is just for the CAR T. To have them alter the stem cells is $325,000, which is ridiculous. If insurance does not approve it, then I have to come up with that money somehow. Then turn around and then do all the testing, heart, lung test, stuff like that. Again, same test as before, make sure my body can handle it, stuff, and then proceed with the process. Well, I've been doing everything at the Providence Hospital up here in Portland, Oregon. But this is all done over at OHSU, unfortunately, which is a further drive, a lot more people, a lot bigger building, a lot more confusing. I already have problems enough with anything and everything. So uh, we're proceeding with that. So until we get the insurance approved, we're keeping the cancer down. So no chemo at this point will cure my cancer. Well, not even cure, just make it to where I wouldn't have to continue doing treatments. So what we're doing is we're going to continue the treatments with chemo and up until they extract the stem cells from my body. This will be keeping the cancer basically in a bowl, put a lid on the bowl, and just keep it there. We know it's there, but it's not going anywhere. It's not going to grow. It's not going to expand. Not going to do anything. The chemo will at least give us that much, right? And so that way it creates the bridge, is what the doctor called it, to let the altered stem cells get to where they need to go. We'll have to have that bridge through the cancer to them. But like with the chemo, it'll keep it down long enough, excuse me, to proceed. Um, so at this moment in time, it's Saturday where I'm at. I believe it's Saturday. Yeah. Tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, of course, on a Sunday, I have to be back at the hospital to do more labs, possible infusion. I just got 2 bags of blood the other day. I had platelets and fluids because all my counts are so low that I require constant infusions. Um, so I'm going in on Sunday, see if I need, they're going to take my labs. That's an hour long sitting there doing nothing. When they come back, all right, your platelets are at this, so we don't need to give you platelets, but your blood's at this, so we have to give you blood. That's the way I see it happening. Always end up at the hospital for at least 5+ hours every day, every time I go. So it's a process. From there, next week, I have a meeting with the doctor, I believe, on Monday. Friday the 13th, I have my PET scan and my CT scan to see where the cancer is at and how it's doing. I also got a mental health evaluation that day. Yes, I got to see a therapist. I mean, I've got bipolar, depression issues. Got a lot of issues in general that cause me problems on a day-to-day basis, like my memory. Is really bad. The couple that I met, Roman, were actually really cool. I have a problem just burying my soul to a degree when I'm face to face with a person. I'm very much an open book, and I have no problem talking about the cancer. But therapists always want to talk about the past, and there's a lot of things in my past that where I have done wrong, where others have done wrong to me. All this stuff, I can't talk about. It's really hard. So I do have to go see them. I do have to get mentally evaluated for the stem cell process. It is supposed to help me as well with the depression and the suicidal thoughts and things like that, because all this builds into that. Having suicidal thoughts has been on my brain for many years because I'm in a constant pain stasis and I just want to quit. The only reason why I don't is because, I think about all my problems. So what? The world has problems. But my mom wouldn't be able to handle it. My niece, my fiance, my animals. It's already bad enough. I'm living 5 hours away from home since my birthday in November. I've been up here 8 months now, and it kills me. I love my sister to death because that's who I'm staying with, but it's not home. And I want to be home. I want all this crap to be over with. I want to just be home. So I'm trying to push through everything, get to where it needs to be. After the scans on Friday and mental health evaluation, we move into chemo again on the 18th, I believe. Yes, the 18th. The 18th is when I have my next round of chemo, which they will hospitalize me for because it is a 24-hour chemo. So I actually have to be in the hospital with it hooked to me for a full 24 hours. And that's just one part of the chemo. That's not the pre-meds or the follow-up chemo. I'm in there for roughly 2 to 3 days, which isn't too bad. I mean, last time I was in the hospital was 16. 2 3 days I can deal with. At least I can order whatever I want, from the cafeteria. I bring my projector, my Nintendo Switch, and when night falls, I just hook that up. Got a massive wall that I sit there and play my games on, so that's kind of cool. Uh, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much where I'm at right now. Is more scans, more chemo, experimental concept of what's next. The CAR T is experimental for the most part. The doctor says no, it's not. It's been working for years in other countries. It just recently came to the States. It's still an experimental thing. They haven't done enough of them to have it be a process. The CAR T itself, I'm not allowed to drive or do anything dangerous for 8 weeks afterwards, just in case. And for the next 15 years, I have to keep in contact with them every month to let them know how I'm doing. Is there anything that's affecting me, kind of thing? Because they want to do a prolonged, being the experimental treatment that it is, they are doing a prolonged survey, basically. Does this treatment have any lasting effects on the human body? Which, of course, it will, and it does, I bet. I mean, anything does. And if this doesn't work, my next options are just wait till I die. I mean, I'm done with it. Like I said, I love my sister, but once all this is said and done and I get to go home, I'm staying there. And if it so chooses that it's going to come back, I'll go with the options of chemo, help keep it beaten down, but it's still just a wait until you die kind of thing. The only thing I'm worried about the CAR T is it gets entered into your bloodstream, right? And so a lot of the side effects are stroke, blindness, temporary blindness, temporary deafness, temporary muteness, which will be weird. Possibility of death because it gets part of your bloodstream, it goes up into your brain, and so a lot of the side effects because that newly developed cell that they created is running amok in your body. Sure, it's supposed to be targeting just the cancer cells, but it won't. It'll target everything that it wants to. That's why there's a chance with it getting in my brain that it will kill me. No matter what option I go with, there's a possibility of death at this point. They've tried everything they could to keep the cancer down. It starts going down, it starts looking good, and automatically shoots back up more aggressive than ever. The second time around when we were going to do the stem cell transplant, we went from my numbers are extremely high and doing good. The chemo worked. I'm shooting through the roof and that was Tuesday that I saw the doctor, to Thursday, all my numbers are below where they're supposed to be. The cancer's back more aggressive than ever. And it's chemo today. I went from doing labs in one chair to another chair to a hospital bed. And I was in there for just over a week. And I was allowed to leave my room, and wander the halls if I wanted to that time around. But my cancer is being so aggressive. Oh, and the other thing I didn't say was I had the Hodgkin's lymphoma in my neck, right? And I got the scar somewhere to prove it. Anyway, they took 4 large nodules out, right? And it's Hodgkin's lymphoma type 5. The cancer that attacked my spleen is currently building nodules along the back of my spine, is still at my spleen, inside and out, is B cell, T cell lymphoma. At least something along those lines. It's another lymphoma, but it's different. They don't know if it's straight out a second cancer that I developed or if it mutated from the cancer that was in my shoulder that's laying dormant. Because the treatment for the Hodgkin's lymphoma type 5 is done. What's left in there is dead. It's just kind of there. So they think it could have mutated over. And the whole time I was down in my hometown, nobody told me this. It was just, yeah, your cancer's back. Let's start treatment. Woohoo. Then I turn around, I get up here to Portland, and they're like, "Yeah, your second cancer, blah 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 blah." I'm like, "Wait, second cancer? Wait a minute." Since I've been up here, I've done 7 bone marrow biopsies now, each one more painful than the last. But they have to make sure that the cancer hasn't progressed into my spine because it is building nodules in my spine or on my spine going up. Now you got your spine in the back, right? Mine's on the front end of the spine. So to get to it, they would have to go through everything in my body to get to those nodules just to see them. They can't get a needle in there safely, so they can't biopsy it, and that's why they did another bone marrow biopsy. And they can't remove the spleen now, where the cancer is originating from, because uh, if you were to remove that, the cancer just goes, "Oh, look, a big open space for me to grow and expand and be blah." It is extremely painful, Ramen. Um, I live day to day on a pain scale of 1 to 10. I live at a 4. I've got pain pills. If I were to take them while I was at a 4, I might get down to a 2 if I'm lucky. I've got pins and needles in my feet, neuropathy in my hands. I can't feel anything. I just feel pressure, um, which is really weird playing video games. You can feel yourself pressing the buttons, but at the same time, you can't feel the buttons. And that's from chemo causing neuropathy. I've also got a herniated disc in my fifth vertebrae in my neck, which sends out shooting pains to my, up and down my back, to my shoulders, out through my arms. And I don't remember what they said was wrong with my lower back, but I have a problem with my lower back as well. And that one's the worst. That one also causes muscle spasms that last 2 to 3 days. Pain pills don't touch it. Um, I can jump from a 4 average in the pain scale all the way up to an 8 or 9. And that 8 or 9 will just last for days. I'm sucking down pain pills and muscle relaxers like they're freaking candy, and I hate it because I pretty much my whole family is addicted to them, and so I refuse to take them until I get to that pain level I honestly can't stand. And that's why I live at a 4 on the pain scale. It's painful, it sucks, but I can live with it. I can still get through my day with the pain that I have. Now, suicidal thoughts come into that. I'm in pain. Why don't I just go out and stand in front of a train, jump off a building, something like that? And I have lots of scenarios in my head where I could kill myself, but I don't because of the reasons I stated earlier. Um, but when I'm in serious pain and I have to take those pain pills, it's constantly taking pain pills just over and over and over again, trying not to scream out in pain because my back's spasming, or I can't put my feet on the floor because the pins and needles have gotten so bad. It's like walking on a bed of nails. Um, so yeah, it's an all around. Every time I go in, they weigh me, they do my vitals, of course, and they go, "Are you having any pain today?" Yes. And I have to explain to every single person again and again and again where the pain's at, hasn't changed, blah, blah, blah. And I'm taking more pills than I know what to do with. On average, I take 9 pills at noon and 9 pills at midnight. Um, this includes all my antibacterials, my Lyrica to help with the neuropathy. It helps keep it out of my legs, but my hands and feet have no effect yet. It has my morphine, time release morphine that I take, every day, my Plexeril, my antidepressants, and all other miscellaneous, we call them don't die meds because they're here for this, they're here for that, they're here for that. Take these, take these, take these. All right, they're just my don't die meds. Ramen, I really want to thank you for joining and talking with me a little bit here. Like I said, this is going to be a general vlog. I'm going to see how things go, try to do once a week updates. At least every weekend pop in, be like, hey, here's what's going on for the week. Here's what I just did. These videos won't be as long as this one because this one was to explain everything that was going on. It looks like I've been live for just about 30 minutes there. I appreciate it, Ramen. I do too. I hope everything goes well so I can just go home. But the CAR T, knowing my luck, I will get lots of side effects. But as long as I live through it, I get to go home to my animals. I get to go home to my fiance. I don't care. Like I said, I love my sister to death, but I'm tired of living here. I want to go home. But again, thank you for joining me, Ramen. You have yourself a great weekend. Everyone else, anyone else who watches this video, like I said, I'll try and do some weekly updates. It's gonna be living with cancer. It's gonna be a series. At least I hope it is. I'm actually having a pretty alright weekend so far. Sure, there's pain, but I got my video games. I'm pretty much just relaxing. Outside of tomorrow morning, which I have to get up extra early for to go to the hospital to probably get blood. That's the only part that's going to really suck. But thank you all again. Y'all have a good night. I'm signing off.